ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारमवतु भक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। May my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both, speech and mind, be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be joined day and night through the study with Brahman. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto you all. Good morning. This morning, I am going to speak a little bit confusing subject matter, which is called selflessness and selfishness. All the religions of the world, we know, say that selfishness is bad. And on the other hand, selflessness is good and welcome, and we should practice selflessness. What is selfishness? Is selfishness means the self-love? If I love myself, does it mean selfishness? The selfless people, they love themselves, and that is why they try to make themselves happy. They make themselves joyful by depriving others. That is called selfishness. Selfish people are always they love themselves more than others. The selfish person is interested only in themselves, want everything for themselves, and judges people and things only by the standard of their usefulness to them. They mix with others with this calculation that whether this person comes any use of me, is this person is helpful? Can I get something out of this person? Then only I shall mix with you. Otherwise, no. So these are a kind of signs of selfish people. On the other hand, selfless people, they serve others. They try to do their service for sake of their own interest. And they are good people. They are recognized in the society as a good people. The point is this: the selfish people, they love themselves. But the selfless people, they are ready to sacrifice themselves. This is the common notion of selfishness and selflessness. But there are some twists. There are some exceptions also. Let us take some example of this. That few people, they are recognized as unselfish, but there is some problem in it. As for example, there are people, they are over selfless. They do not live in peace nor allow others to live in peace. They criticize and quarrel with others, and the harm they do often naturalizes all the good they do through their selfless work. If we go through the views of intellectuals, we can find very interesting comments. Let us see two extreme views. One, from Kelvin. You know, Kelvin is the reformist. He said that people cannot be selfless because they are sinful. If they think for others, there is some self-interest. There must be some self-interest. None, because they are fallen, they are sinful. They cannot think other than themselves. On the other hand, German philosopher Nietzsche, he said, those who are thinking for others, they are weak. It is their completely weakness. They are not capable of caring themselves. That is why they are trying to helping others, because they are weak. They try to get others' help for sustenance. So these are weak people. The right thing is get yourself happy by whatever means it may be. That is Nietzsche's view. Let us see what is the view of other psychologists. The great psychologist Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, he said that, whatever may be the matter, selfishness or selflessness, an individual is guided by the power of their libido and id. So, their main interest guided by their lower instinct. Whatever may be the matter, they are helpless and they are guided by their lower instinct. Although these three views are different, but one thing is common. The common thing is this: both cannot be done. Selflessness and selfishness, it is not possible for an individual. And self-love means whether it is under the power of lower instinct or weakness or something, love for oneself is not be appreciated. Means love for oneself is not good. Because if we love, only Nietzsche said that yes, love for oneself is required because we want to make ourselves happy. That is the powerful thing that is one should do. But two cannot be done. Love for oneself and love for others, that is not possible together. So this is the view. What is the view of Vedanta? Before going to that, let us see one of the colleagues and disciple of Sigmund Freud. If we go through the Western thinkers and philosophers, we can find that there are many similarities of thoughts with Vedanta. Let us take this colleague and disciple of Sigmund Freud, whose name is Alfred Adler. This Alfred Adler, he stated that, you see, apart from the primary instinct of self-preservation, there is in every person a creative urge to develop their inherent talents and capacities to the fullest extent. So everybody has some kind of creative urge. Our opinion, our view, our thoughts are guided by this creative urge. We are unable to distinguish our desire and creative urge, but whatever may be the matter, each individual has his or her this creative urge. It is owing to this urge for self, what is Abraham Maslow says, the self-actualization. We try to become fulfilled. We try to become fulfilled by satisfying our creative urge. That is the dynamic force. That is not bad. It is the creative urge. That is good. From this concept comes different views. They say, if there is goodness in us, the right thing to do is to accept it. If we find good things to others, why don't we accept it? We should accept it. If we find some good thing in us, why don't we accept it? So acceptance, whether it is good or bad, ourself, is one of the very important point. And then came the biblical justification. We all say that love your neighbor as thyself. So biblical injunctions are also supporting this view that if something is good, if we love our neighbor, why don't we love ourselves? Erich Fromm, another scholar, he says, if it is a virtue to love my neighbor as a human being, it must be a virtue and not a vice to love myself. Since I am a human being too. Then comes the Vedantic injunction. In Vedanta Sara Sangraha, Ramanuja, the propagator of Vishishtadvaita, the qualified monism, he stated a universal law, fantastic law. Atmo abhimano jadrisha tat purushartha pratita. It is a unique and universal law. Atmo abhimano jadrisha. Jadrisha means as. As your Atma Abhimana, as you are perceiving yourself, Atma Abhimano Jadrisha, Tat Purushartha Pratita. Purushartha means the goal. Tat, just like that, your concept of absolute or your goal is. And if you think our world, our concept about the universe or world depends our concept about ourselves. How? I consider myself a human being. So world, we separate this world, human being and other element. If I consider myself a person, a male, immediate, I divide male and female. If I consider myself a good person, a monk, immediate my vision, my concept about this world is household and monk. So as we perceive ourselves, our concept about the world, immediate, we differentiate this world from our standpoint. So that is why this is very important. Atmo Abhimano Jadrisha. As we perceive ourselves, I consider myself a good, person. So immediate my concept is good person and bad person. He is good, he is bad. So the point is this: our world, our perception about this universe depends upon our perception about ourselves. This is a universal, very important law. And other thinkers, they also said that yes, a new wave generated, evolved, and they say, along with Elder Eric Fromm, Abraham Maslow, Kierkegaard, and there are a bundle of thinkers, they develop this idea that self-love doesn't mean selfishness. There are different causes. Rather, those who are sometimes selfless, there are various types of pseudo-selfishness. I can give you some example of it. So, they are those who hate themselves. They are actually selfish people. Those who love themselves, they are not selfish people. Those who hate themselves are the selfish people. It sounds a little bit weird, but let us justify it. Let us see. How is it possible? Terribly unselfish do-gooder who has no time to think about themselves. They are always busy, rushing here and there, thrusting their selfless services upon others, even against their wish. They have no use for books or music and condemn all those who pray, worship, or meditate as selfish people. Their main purpose is to make themselves indispensable, and though they try to help others, what they really do is to make them dependent upon Him so that they may not be able to manage without them. So they feel a kind of happiness by thinking that yes, people are depending on me. They do their services, but under the carpet, their idea is that these people depend. In all cases they are calling me. So I am serving them, so they depend on me. This happiness, they are finding joy that people depend on me. That is a kind of joy they get. Sometimes pseudo-selfishness goes in that much height that those who are doing selfless service, they cannot understand that it is a pseudo-selflessness. They do not understand that. So what is the sign of selfless service? Why? all religions of the world, they appreciate, they accept the selfless service. Why? Is there no benefit out of this? Let us see what Swami Vivekananda says. Swami Vivekananda said, "Why should we do good to the world?" He asked this question, and he replied, "Apparently, to help the world, but really to help ourselves. We should always try to help the world. That should be the highest motive in us. But if we consider well, we find that the world does not require our help at all. We may all be perfectly sure that it will go on beautifully well without us. And we need not bother our heads wishing to help it. Yet, we must do good. The desire to do good is the highest motive power we have. If we know all the time that it is a privilege to help others, do not stand on a high pedestal and take 5 cents in your hand and say, "Here, my poor man," but be grateful that the poor man is there, so that by making a gift to him, you are able to help yourself. All good acts tend to make us pure and perfect. What can we do at best? Build a hospital, make roads, or create charity asylums. But what are all these? One mighty wind in 5 minutes can break all your buildings up. What shall we do then? One volcanic eruption may sweep away all our roads and hospitals and cities and buildings. Let us give up all this foolish talk and doing good to the world. This is not waiting for your or my help. Yet we must work and constantly do good, because it is a blessing to ourselves. That is the only way we can become perfect. World doesn't require our help, but we must do it to purify ourselves. By doing good to others, we are doing our good. That is why we have to do good. It is not necessary that world is seeking help from us. If we are not there, then world will not going round? Obviously. We lost many dearer and nearer people in our life. We thought world is becoming zero, nothing. But we are alive, and we laugh, we enjoy. Life changes. So world is not sitting for our help, but still we do help to purify ourselves. But what about the selfishness and selflessness, self-love and love for others. Let us see what is love according to Vedanta. If we understand the concept of love, then we can understand that self-love is not selfishness. What is love? We love different people, we love our building, we love our cars. Many, we love different ways. We think that love is some kind of emotion, some kind of feeling, some kind of attraction. But Vedanta says love is neither feeling, nor emotion, nor any kind of mental function. Love is eternal. The love that we have is eternal. What is the concept of eternal? Eternal means which doesn't have any starting point. Eternal means beyond time. What is the concept of time? Something is starting from one point and it will be end at another point. This is called time. And eternal, just opposite. There is no beginning, no end. If there is no beginning, there will be no end. So my love starts at the moment when I was born. So to me, my love is eternal. For others, it may have some time, but because it has when I was born, that is started, and when I will die, that will be end. But to me, it is eternal. For each individual, love is eternal. When it started, love started. Can you find any person who doesn't have love? Even the terrible killer, they also have love. So love is eternal. Love is infinite. Love is infinite. What is the concept of infinite? The concept of infinite is, it is not bound by time, space, and name and form. This table is not infinite. Why? Because if we go a little different space, we cannot find this table. Here the table is not there, only up to this. So it is subject to space. Have you found anywhere where love is not there? Maybe expression of love is not there, but love is not. Do you think love is desire? If you are very happy and you want to dance, do you think this dance is out of desire? It is the expression. It is the spontaneous expression of our joy. So we cannot find, it is not limited by time, space, and causation. What is the concept of causation? The concept of causation is this: cause has an effect, and this cause is pervaded in the effect. Milk becomes butter. So if milk is the cause, the effect is the butter. So milk is there in the butter. Or vice versa. Butter is also there, because of that milk became butter. So that is the cause, and it is infinitum. It is going on. If you go back, the cause of milk is cow, then the cause of cow, there are some, so it is infinitum. But if love is infinite, not bound by time and space, infinite doesn't have any cause. Because, why it is? Because if there is any cause, another cause, then only infinite can be violated. And infinite means there is nothing, only that thing is there. Infinite is one. When we say infinite, infinite never be two. Do you think infinite is two? Infinite is always one. That is why it is said, if you take something from infinite, what will remain? Only infinite will remain, because that is infinite. Infinite doesn't have two parts. Infinite is always one. So love is infinite. So if it is eternal, if it is infinite, and do you think love depends upon anything? Love doesn't depend upon anything. Then why do we love our nearer and dear? Why do you love our house? Why do we love our car, new car, or our clothings? Why do we love? This is the suffering. This is because of ignorance. We love these impermanent things. Love means this love is the expression of that eternal love. We love others. It is because that eternal spring of love is there in ourself. This love is universal, eternal, and self-effulgent. Nothing is dependent, because it is causeless cause. It has no cause. So, as it has no cause, that is why it is swayam. It is self-effulgent. Just like consciousness. Consciousness is self-effulgent, self-proved. So, our concept of love means some object must be there. If there is no object, no love. This is our concept. This is ignorance. Love is independent. We grab some object. out of desire. We connect with that. And that is the cause of our suffering. Because that object goes and we think we do not have love. Our love depends, the human love or the lower kind of love is depending upon some object. But love or bhakti, bhakti is the love of God. Bhakti. It is not always, just imagine, I shall give you one example. I used to love my brother, okay? And when I left my home and hearth, and I was completely, out of my family for years after years, do you think my love will go? If our near and dearer passes away or live in far abroad, do you think your love diminishes? We don't think that. So love is independent of any object. No object is required for love. Love is self-effulgent. Bhakti too. See, in Naradiya Bhakti Sutra, you cannot find any God in Naradiya Bhakti Sutra. Bhakti itself. We think for expression of bhakti some object is required. Yes, in the beginning, for novices, it is required. Definitely it is required. So only we express our bhakti if some object is in front of us. But do you think if no object is in front of us, we cannot express our bhakti? Definitely we express our bhakti. So bhakti is also like love, independent of any object. So love is the expression of ourself. It is independent, it is infinite, it is eternal, it is self-expression. No cause is there, causeless. For love, self-happiness, we love for our joy. We do not love for the other object, because we feel happiness and joy within by our expression of love. The problem is this: if we depend on others, if we think the important in the problem of love, the object is important, then we will suffer. Why? Everyone says love is very important thing, we should love others. But love is the most suffering thing. Most strong blows come from our beloved. Don't you think that? Why? It is because we expect love in return. To whom you will love, you expect love in return. This expectation, love is not bad. This expectation is bad. Love is conditionless. No condition is there. In love, there is no condition. It is in Sanskrit says ahituki. No hetu or condition is there. That means whether you want or not, love is there. And it will come out without your control. Because it is self-effulgent, it is independent of anything. So self-love is another expression of our love for others. The more we have love within ourselves, we can express it, the more we can love others. So self-love is not contradictory to love others. On the other hand, if we hate ourselves, we cannot love others. So selfishness is the sign of self-hatred. Why jealousy comes? What is the cause of jealousy? Because we take it for granted, if I compare myself with Mr. X, and I take it for granted that I am not at par with Mr. X. And then jealousy comes. So I am taking for granted that I am not at par with Mr. X. So I am belittling myself. So self-hatred, jealousy comes from self-hatred. So the love and self is synonym. These are same characteristics, consciousness. It is the Ananda aspect of Brahman. And this is not the qualities. If that is quality, sometimes it may be there, it may not be there. But it is not quality, it is the intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature never passes away, never goes. You cannot separate intrinsic nature by time, space and causation. Our separation is the time, space and causation. This way we can separate it. These are the boundaries. So we cannot separate time, space and causation. And the different states. What are the different states? 3 states. Waking, sleeping and deep sleep and dream. We have 6 conditions. One is time, space, causation, and another is waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Try this one. If you are sleeping, do you think you don't have love? In the waking state, we know we have love. But let us check, because problems. In the waking state, we have some problem. But in sleep, deep sleep, no problem. In dream, we have joy instead of problem. So love, when we are in deep sleep, do you think we don't have love there at that time? We have the awareness. Somebody is experiencing the awareness, isn't it? Who says you that you have a very good sleep? When you are in deep sleep, who says you that you had a very good sleep? That means somebody is there within you who is experiencing this good sleep. That is not waking state. That is not dreaming state. You have dreamt. Who told you that you have a dream? That means who was dreaming, he has that experience. Somebody has the experience. And that is also within you. So somebody is observing. So love is identified with that. So love was always there. So love is eternal. So self-love doesn't mean some extra other things. I told that love is always eternal, infinite, and we have our limited love. Do you know why? According to our mental setup. Try it. When you are extremely happy, try to push a little bit happiness to increase that little further. You cannot. You cannot. Our happiness is fixed according to our state of mind. In Indian philosophy, there are 5 states of mind, and another, the highest one, is 6. 5 states of mind. So these 5 states of mind, you know the basic mind, exactly the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy ladder, the basic one, this energy, this mental, this intellect. So these are the 5, you know. So if these 5, our mind is connected with any of them. Some people like eat, drink, fun making, and all other things. So they are connected with that. If you give them any other things, they will not be happy. So their happiness is fixed to that state. If they want to increase their happiness, they cannot. So our happiness is fixed. If you change your state of mind, then the happiness will be more. In the highest state, the realization state, Vedanta says the happiness is infinite. And this lower happiness is nothing but the expression of self-love. That love, that is the expression of that love which is percolating from different layers of ignorance, our egotism, our different colored glass, and that is why it is become objectified. So the fundamental baseline is that self-love doesn't mean selfishness. Rather, self-hatred means selfishness. Do you have any question? Yes, please.
I'm very happy that you spoke on this topic this morning, because in my readings of Swami Vivekananda's work, I heard where I read he mentioned selfishness quite a bit. And I was wondering what you're talking about this morning as selfishness, as self-hatred. When Swamiji talks about selfishness, is that what he's meaning when he, this one letter, a letter to a friend, he talks about, kind of like the unreality of the world, and he talks a lot about selfishness, and then I guess in Karma Yoga, everything that I've read, he mentions it at least once. Is this what he's referring to? Is like selfishness?
Right. He at that point, he is considering the lower type of love, that great love which we express through our egotism and egoism, the colored lens of egoism and egotism. That is actually, because that is directed to some object. When love is directed to some object, there is problem. Obviously there is problem. There is number of problems. Why? Number one, that object will not stay with you for a long time. That is impermanent. When that object will go, you will suffer. Number one. Number two, this love, this lower love, is not, it is subject to time, space and causation, and these three states. I say, the litmus test is time, space and causation and your three states. When you sleep, the object of your love is no more. So only which is satisfied by your three states and time, space and causation, that is eternal. That is what we must seek. Pardon?
When you say objects.
Object means other human being, or maybe building, maybe your car, maybe your clothing, maybe your golden ornaments, jewelry, money, whatever may be the object. Even sometimes your pet. Not different life of love is one. But when it is percolating from your ignorance and egoism, that colored lens, it is directing towards object. That is the mistake. So we have to, that is what in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya told to his wife, he says to his wife, he says to his wife that it is not for the sake of husband that he is loved, but for the sake of one's own self that he is loved. Pati priya bhavati. So this is the condition, and not only that, in different Upanishads also, it says the self is ananda, ya atma paramananda, param premaspadam yataha. So our self is paramananda, param premaspada. So it is love. The intrinsic nature is love. You cannot separate it. Whether you like it or not, you love. Love will come out. It is your nature. The object may change, the circumstances may change, but you have no other alternative but to love, because it is self-expression. It is independent. Whether you like it or not, as long as your consciousness is connected with your body, you have to live. Only when you disconnect your consciousness from the body, then you cannot realize the consciousness. Then you cannot feel. You do not have this awareness of your consciousness. That's all. Because for awareness of our consciousness, some instrument is required. For the presence of electricity, some fittings are required. For the presence of our consciousness, some fittings are required. The fittings is our body, brain, blah, 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 etc. That is what Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter says. Chit jada granthi. It is a knot. Chit means consciousness, jada means body. The chit jada granthi, this knot is required. If you cut this knot, you are free. The body will remain. You cannot realize that. Obviously, it is not so simple. Indian philosophy says that you have your subtle body, you have your causal body. So all those bodies are there. As long as those bodies will be there, you have some kind of memory, some kind of, vibration of your samaskaras. But in a very subtler and subtler and subtler way. Okay. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkham apnuvat, sarvastarotu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarva sadbuddhimapnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu, durjana sajjano bhuyat, sajjana shantimapnuat, Shantamucchete bandhebhyo muktaschanyan vimochayet. May all be happy. May all enjoy good health. May all see happy events. May all be freed from miseries. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bondages. May the freed make others free. May the Supreme Deity, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Peace, peace, peace be unto you all. We have few announcements. Next Sunday, we do not have any Sunday lecture at 11 o'clock here in this hall, because next Sunday we will have a special lecture in the evening at San Jose. Professor R. Subramaniam from IIT Bombay will be delivering a talk on next Sunday at 7 p.m. at San Jose. The topic will be coming out of insomnia by going into Vedanta. So the following Sunday, the first Sunday of June, I think, we will have again here the Sunday talk at 11 a.m. So I request you all to join our all events. And as usual, tea and coffee will be served in Sardananda Hall, which will be followed by Prasad luncheon. You are all welcome to join. Thank you.